Welcome to St George's Park. You're watching BetSafe. It's ahead of England's massive World Cup qualifier against Scotland at Hampden Park this weekend. With me is Nick Collins. Nick, we've just spoken to Jack Butland, returning from injury, and he spoke about many things, but the big thing for him is getting back, isn't it? And getting back in the England fold, and as he said, getting those 3 lines back on his chest.
Yeah, he was great, wasn't he? I was really pleased to see him back because, I mean, it was over a year ago now. It was March 2016 in Berlin when he broke his ankle in that wonderful England win. And his recovery from injury had setbacks, and as he said himself, just 5 Premier League games before the end of this season. But that was enough for Gareth Southgate to bring him back into the fold. Yes, he was his captain at that tournament, the under-21 tournament last year, but it was a real shot in the arm for him, I think, to be given that kind of confidence boost by Gareth Southgate and brought back in so quickly. But it was very noticeable that, yes, he comes back in now, he's been away for a year, but the ambition is as fierce as ever. He doesn't just want to be a squad member, he wants to be in that starting lineup. That's great. The more he pushes Joe Hart, the better that can be for England.
It's been a long time, and I've got the 3 lines back on my chest and wearing that shirt again, which is always has been an honour and proud moment for me and my family. So to be back here after some difficult times is really good, and yeah, just thoroughly enjoying being back and looking forward to the week ahead. It can be a lonely place when you're injured. So one of the things I missed out on much was just being able to be out there with your teammates and experiencing the highs and the lows, and that's what we all love in football is that experience. So for me, it was just the drive and belief that I wanted to get back to where I was. I wanted to make up for all the lost time, for the missing out on the Euros, for missing so many Premier League games, and just getting back playing with my friends and with the teammates and trying to make my family proud again. So yeah, it's not nice to do something, not be able to do something you love for a long time.
You mentioned Joe Hart. Jack Butland has really never hidden away from the fact that he wants to replace him as England's #1, which for any England manager, you want that competition, but yet again, he didn't hide from it today, did he?
No, and it's quite right that someone should have that kind of ambition and not just see themselves as a training partner to England's #1 goalkeeper, but say, look, he's done really well, Joe Hart, 70 caps for England. I want some of that. I want to be the main man at a tournament. And Russia 2018, that could be a really interesting one, because if Jack Butland gets a full season in without any injuries and continues the improvement that we've seen from him in recent years, then I really do believe that he's going to be challenging hard. I mean, I think he was and would have been going into Euro 2016, but for that unfortunate injury in Berlin in March last year. I really think Roy Hodgson then was thinking, I've got 2 keepers here and there's not a lot between them. But now he's almost got to start again. But listen, he'll fight his way back. He's shown the determination that's needed. He said it was a dark place when he was first injured and having to come back, but he has got that inner steel, that determination, that little bit extra that will drive him on and make sure that he forces his way back into the starting lineup at some stage for England.
You know, I've known Joe for a long time, all the way from, you know, when I was in the youth team at Birmingham and he was on loan there from Man City, and we've always had a healthy relationship, and I think that, you know, bodes really well when we come into squads, is that I'm keen to do as well as I can, and in turn that pushes him and likewise pushes me back. So you know, it's really healthy and positive, and I think gets the best out of each other. Wherever I can get myself to, and I'm wherever the manager places me right now. To be honest, I'm just proud and happy to be back in the squad. I understand that I've only played 5 Premier League games this season, but I feel like I've produced really good performances in those games. But for me, you know, I don't just settle. I'm really happy to be back in the squad. I do want to be a part of things. But no matter what position I've been in, I've always backed whoever's played, and whatever rank or whatever position I end up in coming into the game on Saturday and Tuesday is what I'll accept, and I'll just back whoever's in front of me or behind me, and we'll see how it goes.
Now, I mentioned that we're at St George's Park, but the lads arrived here, I think, on Friday evening, and they thought they were going to train here. They didn't train here. They were taken straight to Devon to a marine training camp, and tell us what they did, Nick.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is outward bound taken to the extreme, and I think it's a great idea. I know other managers have had thoughts of team bonding, and the players themselves have said, well, you know, bit of golf in the sun of Portugal is a nice way of doing it. This was anything but that. It was the Royal Marines Training Centre down in Devon. They were put through their paces by the Marines, literally no quarter asked or given. Underwater tests, the yomping through the fields, building your own camp, left to their own devices. It's all about not just building up team spirit. I think the whole point of it is absolutely showing what teamwork can do in adversity, and that's the key thing. I think England have realised in tournaments, yes, they get there, they qualify really well, but then when they're up against it in a tournament, they never seem to be able to find their way through and out to the other side. And this is all about, I suppose, making sure that England understand totally they're only as strong as their weakest player, if you like. The stronger we can make that weak link, then the whole team will be better. It's building the team ethos. It's taking them out of their comfort zone, as Jack Butland said. And he clearly enjoyed it. And I think most of the players, especially the younger players, would have done.
It was tough, but it was one of the most rewarding experiences, I've ever had. We got to experience, their way of life, the way they do things, their values, and just how tight-knit they are as a family. And I think as a squad and players, we all, benefited from that. I think there was a lot to learn and stuff that we're keen to take forward in what we're trying to achieve. So I think it was very positive and rewarding for everyone in the squad. We always want to achieve as well as we can do, but if you keep preparing the same, you'll get the same results. So I think that's something that Gareth lives by, and it's important that we stretch ourselves. And the Marines talk about something called disconnected expectations, which is the shock factor. It's being taken out of your comfort zone and then being able to perform as well as you can do when you're at your most fatigued, when you're at your most out of your comfort zone. And that was something that was big for us, and being able to pull together, not just us as players, we were carrying everyone through it. It was the staff, it was the kit men, it was the media guys, it was everyone involved in everything we did, and all the team bonding exercise. And I think everyone learned a hell of a lot about each other from the couple of days we spent with them. I think a lot of the values that they hold and they believe in can be spread across any walk of life, any sport. It's about togetherness. It's about working hard and preparing at the ultimate level. I mean, these guys train at not even 110%. They train way beyond their limit all the time, so that when they get to that day of reckoning, when they are needed, they can produce under pressure. And that is just a phrase that can be applied to any walk of life, but it's something that we're keen to use in what we do, because we have done all those things, but we haven't been able to apply that under pressure. So I think that's a massive value that we can take going forward.
If they were working on their strength, it's probably Hampden Park where they may well need it. I mean, you look at Marcus Rashford, he's only 19, and as Gareth Southgate spoke of last week, there is an immense hostility when you play away from home in Glasgow. Yeah,
they don't like us is what, Gareth Southgate said they dislike us more than we do then. And I guess I can see where he's coming from on that. Listen, it will be hostile, there's no doubt about it. I mean, for Scotland, it's almost their last chance, isn't it? If they get beaten, their opportunities to qualify are going to be pretty slim. So, yeah, for England's young team, they've got to prove that they've got the mental stability and strength as well as the quality on the field, because it will be a combination of both. I mean, forget that 3-0 win at Wembley in front of a vast majority of England fans. England took their chances. Scotland were in that game. We shouldn't forget that. But England took their chance as well. 3 headers, 3-0. Thank you very much. 3 great points, and on they go. This time around, it's the very last competitive game of the season. They've reached the halfway stage of this qualifying group. They're in control. But if they could win this one in Glasgow, it would really make a big difference. And I think, listening to the players, they're clearly up for it. They know it's going to be a tough ask. Some of them have played against Scotland before in Scotland, not many of them, but some of them have done. But that was a friendly, so they've got an inkling. But this is going to be something different. And yes, I'm sure that Marine training exercise can only have helped absolutely strengthen them up for what will follow.
An impressive Jack Butland then here at St George's Park today. Watch out tomorrow, we'll be speaking to Marcus Rashford, and you can check out all the latest odds for this weekend's internationals at betsafe.com.